And welcome back to another episode of the Press Star Podcast. This is episode number 46, and I'm your host, Vic, aka MrNeverChillin. And of course, I'm joined by none other than Lunatic Oblivion.
Hey guys, how you doing today? So it's another great Sunday here. We've gotten to play some Valorant today, actually. We got to play our co-op stream, and it's been a good weekend. What'd you think of Tiny Tina's so far?
Man, like I was talking to you at my brother's housewarming today that we went to, this game has probably been one of the more enjoyable games that I've played this year. It's just like the story actually feels connected, the gameplay feels really smooth, the gunplay is great, the loot can be overwhelming. Like I just feel like there's a bunch of junk loot that we're coming across, but Borderlands has been known for that, the millions of guns and stuff like that. So it's like, all right, cool. It's part of the expectation of the game, but overall, like I love the whole overworld, and then you go into the encounters of the dungeons and stuff like that. It genuinely feels like we're playing a Dungeons and Dragons experience, but like in a video game format, but like with a touch of Borderlands. And I think like they probably do Dungeons and Dragons better than Dungeons and Dragons games have been lately. But what's your thoughts so far?
I would 100% agree with you. Like, strictly speaking from a Dungeons and Dragons game or a Dungeons and Dragons style game, like traditionally we talk about things like Divinity, we talk about things like even Weird West, for example, is the type of game you would get from a Dungeons and Dragons experience. But Tiny Tina's takes that sort of Dungeons and Dragons idea and then warps it into something new and unique. And what I really like about it, I agree. I was telling you, and I want to let everyone else know, I think that this game is honestly one of the best Borderlands games I've played in years.
Yeah.
Playing Borderlands 2 is one of my last ones that I've played because just the series, like it feels better than Borderlands 1, it feels better than Borderlands 2, it feels more fun, more enjoyable. Like there's more uniqueness to your grenades in this game, or in this case, spells. The
Yeah.
ability to cross class is really cool. So you choose
Hmm.
two classes from the game, and those are your two you play as. I think there's a lot to be said about how well the game is designed, just jumping into it right now.
Yeah.
Not to mention, the labor of love is still there. It seems like they've already released the first of all of their DLC. We saw that last week that they launched the essentially the Naga or the Serpent Folk their expansion, and I think the game honestly just feels really well done. The overworld, it's fun and silly. The actual dungeons, they're kind of repetitive, but it just feels good. It's not like I'm wasting my time. But when I finally get to a real actual and a zone where there's a whole quest line, for example,
Hmm.
those of you who watched our stream, we're currently about to go fight an elder dragon or something. It feels fun. The whole zone is one giant dungeon slog. It feels like a Dungeons and Dragons dungeon crawl. It feels good. We get to each checkpoint and we keep moving forward. And, during each section, there's something that changes, something that happens, something we have to do. And it's like there are zones where we have to do main quests and side quests. And there are zones that are just, this is strictly one side quest. You're just doing one long side quest,
Right.
and it feels good. It feels fun, and the collectibles are fun to go after. Like it doesn't feel like I like, and if we separate, it doesn't feel bad or hard to play. I don't
Right.
find myself dying over and over again trying to bring myself back to life.
Yeah.
Whereas like other Borderlands games, once you're on your own, stuff turns into bullet sponges and you just can't win.
Right. I have ran into that problem one time today, and that was when we had to split when we were trying to get rid of that barrier or whatever. And I
Yeah.
was just like, "Where you guys at? I need you." Like this is just entirely way too hard, and it was tough. That was the only problem that I really had. But
Yeah.
even during that claptrap mission that we played, I was just like, "Yo, that was really enjoyable." Like when we beat it, like when we completed that mission or quest line, I was like, "Yo, that quest line was funny, intense. It was just enjoyable."
And like they break the fourth wall, which feels really fun at times. It
Hmm.
feels like there is meant to be this difference between the game and the you in the game and the you at the table and then the you at the computer.
Right.
It feels like there are three different settings going on all at the same time. Like
Right.
one of my favorites is where they take you out of the you in the game, you at the table, and make it you at the computer, and they're like, "Oh God, you're trapped in the Unreal Engine."
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, that to me, watching from your perspective, because I didn't want to jump in there and die. I was like, we're probably gonna die because I've done that already, where you follow a quest and they're like, "Oh, you died," and I was like, I don't want to risk 3 grand. I'll watch you die. But you didn't. You got to experience something that was really cool that I in my stream missed. But the game feels good. It just feels fun. And honestly, I'm surprised that we're halfway through it already.
Right. Yeah, I'm super excited to see how this game finishes. And you were talking about like the whole fourth wall and stuff, and I was just like, these characters that you're playing as in the game are playing the tabletop game, but like they're on like a spaceship flying or whatever, and it's just like, so like what how can the story branch off? Like, could you actually come back and play as those specific people then, like in a future DLC or like a different spin-off game, and travel as those, and like you're like, yo, I played as their characters like that. It's just mind bending. Like, it's pretty cool to see what they can do with this.
Yeah. It's fun, and I really do enjoy the setting a lot, and I definitely will get and play the DLCs just because I had so much fun.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be one of the first games I actually want to play DLCs. Like, Assassin's Creed came out with a bunch of DLC. It was a fun game. Don't want to go back and play it. Watch Dogs, don't want
Yeah.
to play it. Like, there's games that I played and beat, don't want to play it. Like, there's a very few select games that I'm going to go back and play DLC for. And this is
Yeah,
definitely
no,
one of them.
no, I agree. I haven't found a DLC in recent years where I'm like, I want to play it. Because as we've talked about before on the show, a lot of DLC lately has been, let's add content in the middle of the game, not at the end. So why would now I have to go back and replay the whole game just to play your new content? And I feel like game as a service is starting to do it better where content gets added on the end
Yeah.
and experience getting to that content gets improved. But,
Hmm.
for a long time there, all the DLC, even now, it's still, we're going to add a whole new zone in the middle of the game, not where you are, where, it's 6 months, you're done with the game, you don't want to go back and restart it because you've
Right.
already beat it, but now you have to restart it and beat it again just to get to that side zone.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, I think another game that's going to do it really well is Halo, with when Halo Infinite drops, because like obviously Halo
Yeah.
Infinite wants to be a platform, and the way that the story ended, like it's clearly set up for more content to come
Oh yeah,
along.
it's
S-
it's it's meant to be for the story to continue, and like you're dealing with an arbiter or like a forerunner or something. I'm
mhm.
assuming it's a forerunner. You're dealing with a some alien creature that is literally trying to deal with bringing back the forerunners.
Right. So I'm really eager for that game too. But what else have you been playing over the past week?
I started a smaller game. It's called, I believe, Astria Ascending is the game. It is just a small, I think, indie game that it plays like Final Fantasy, but it's an indie game. So
Hmm.
it's okay. It has a little side card game or like token game, board game that you can play in it, and then it's, pretty bland story, but it adds some new and unique features, and it really kind of builds off the idea of your character not just being simple, 2D, easy to build. Your characters, you literally get a class, then you choose a second class, a third class, and a fourth class to really make that character unique and your own.
Hmm. That's
But
interesting.
it feels like it's hard to build into your classes though, because then you have 100 options and you're like, well, what's going to be good for the next zone? So then you don't buy stuff, and then you buy a skill point, and then it's like, oh well, it was only for those two enemies. We're not going back. Those skill points aren't useful.
Yeah, those games
Yeah.
seem too way too in depth for me for sure.
Yeah, so other than that, I've been playing a lot of Magic the Gathering. I built an arena deck finally because I was tired of watching other people play and not really kind of seeing what some of the content out there is. So New Capenna has been really cool in Magic the card game.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I haven't played Magic in a while. Got my cards sitting up here actually, and haven't touched them. Maybe one
Hmm.
of these days I'll hop back in and try and build a deck and see where I'm at with it.
No, yeah, it's super fun. So, what have you been playing?
Interesting enough, I hopped back into Tunic. I've been giving that a little bit more of a try since, I mean, I played it like during the initial release week, but then I stopped playing it and hopped back in because I've decided to not stream Tunic. I was trying to stream it and record it on this channel, and I was just like, man, like I just feel like it's so like I have to be held a certain way and a certain accountability. I'm time restricted, and I was just like, I just want to be able to hop in, play the game, hop off whenever I feel like it, without having to
Yeah.
worry about it. And if I need to step away to take care of things around the house, I can do so while I'm playing that game because that game doesn't involve too much like into it, but it is a very challenging game. But right now, it's actually been pissing me to fuck off. Like you die a lot in that game, and I'm just like, ugh. And then like I'll eventually figure it out. But it's definitely more challenging than I anticipated.
I didn't have any trouble really till the very end of the game. The final boss, if you're having trouble now, you're gonna want to smash your controller. It definitely was a weird game. I think Tunic tried too hard to do something, and I don't think it accomplished what it was trying to do.
That's an interesting because I mean, it's been really received and it's doing phenomenally well, reviewing really well. So it's overall, it's a good game. It's just, I don't know. It's a classic. It's a classic type of game. So I don't know if it's meant
Well,
for this time of life.
well, it at first it didn't get reviewed very well at all, actually. It was getting pretty hit hard by the reviews in the early in the first week or two of its launch. But now it seems to be going back up. Originally, it was like a 5.0 on the user reviews, which was crazy to me.
Hmm.
But now it's kind of at a 7.7, 85 on Metacritic, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's a solid game. It's a game that check out for sure. It's on Game Pass too, so it's why
Hmm.
not, right? Just like the rest of them.
Yeah,
But other games, I actually hop back been playing a lot of Forza lately. Like even last night, like hopped in. I was on Discord with a couple guys watching the boxing match and just throwing Forza while just zoning out. Won a couple races while watching the fight and just beating some more. And it's a fun game to enjoy. Still, here we
no,
are.
I agree.
Here we are over a year, well, not a year later, but um,
6 months, yeah.
yeah, 6 months already, and it's still a game that I'd love to go back to do and play.
Yeah. So, without further ado, we'll move on to the game releases of the week. So, this week is going to be actually a pretty quiet week for almost everything. So, we see 5 game releases this week, and not any of them are really new games except for 3. We've got Sifu. They're getting their collector's edition called the Vengeance Edition. That comes out for PS5 and PS4 on May 2nd. We're going to see Dungeon Defenders Awakened. This is only coming out for the PS4. That's on the May 3rd. We got Loot River. Loot River is a game we talked about before. It is an interesting and new style of gameplay. It comes out for the Xbox Series X, S, One, and PC. We've got Overcooked hitting the Stadia. It's the all you can eat version. And then we've finally got a game we've been talking about for a while now, Trek to Yomi. It finally comes out on the PlayStation 5th, Xbox Series X and S, the PS4, the Xbox One, and the PC on the 5th of May. Now remember, that is a Game Pass day one.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah,
I definitely think I'm going to give that a try this week. As soon as that drops, I think I'm going to give it a go. It looks so good. It just is such a aesthetically pleasing game.
right. Yeah, I definitely agree. There's two games on on this list that I want to try is Loot River and Trek to Yomi. They're both indie games that look really cool. Different take on games that we've had recently, and I'm really eager to
Yeah.
try those both out. For sure. But Sifu, man, I'm jealous because I don't have a PS5, and that's a game I do want to check out. And this Vengeance Edition looks pretty cool because you get like a steel book, the digital soundtrack, you get an art book. So that's really nice to come to an indie game, man. I didn't expect to see an indie game turn physical release and then come out with their own collector's edition. So that
Yeah.
just goes to show the success from that game. They're like, oh, this game's pretty cool, and maybe people want some more content or lore or whatever it may be, and just some more complementary material for it. So
Yeah,
that's
no, I
awesome.
agree. And it can be played on PC. So don't forget it is on the computer, but it is only on the Epic Game Store.
I'm
So you
not
have to
playing it.
buy it.
Yeah, I'm not playing it
Yeah.
on the PC. That'll be a game I'll grab on the PS5 when I get one.
No, makes sense. So, we've got some game industry news this week. Not much, but some. We've got the Super Mario movie actually finally got its release date, and it's been delayed beyond when they originally were planning on releasing it. So the official release date isn't till 2023, and it's going to be on April 7th. What you think about it? You excited to see the movie? We haven't seen any content for it yet. We haven't really seen where it's going to go, what's happening,
Right.
what the story is, because Mario's kind of done it all.
Right. And for them to finally get like a legitimate movie and coming off the success from Sonic, I think that the video game turned movie trend is doing really well. Like look at it, Uncharted, the Pikachu movie, the like I said, Sonic, like they're all doing really well, and I think we're moving down a path where we're starting to have really solid adaptations from game to movie and delay it. I'm on board with delays from here on out. I don't care if it's video games, TV shows, movies. They all need it. They all deserve it because I don't know about you, but I don't like rushed material. I don't like rushed content, and
Nobody does.
I don't like the employees having crunch time and having to work like double overtime,
Yeah.
triple time. Like that's just doing the most. Like delay it,
Well,
do whatever you need to do, and April 7th, 2023, it'll be here before we know it.
yeah, no, exactly. And what I really want to stress here is there's so much stuff that we already have to do, watch, to play. If you do it wrong, then you've ruined the pet project for so many people. You know, these people are passionate. They care about what they're doing. They're not making this Mario movie just to make a Mario movie. Some people do it because they want to and they want to be on these projects. But the problem is like when you rush something like that, then you're just gonna get a crappy movie. You're gonna lose awards. You're not gonna be able to like at the end of the day, doesn't it matter to actually succeed, get awards? Like, the dollar value is correlated to awards and how well you do. So
Right.
at the end of the day, spend a little extra money. You might really get your investment back.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I'm super excited because they got a pretty star-studded cast for this as well.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm a little upset that we didn't get to see Mario's original voice actor,
Right.
instead we're going to get Chris Pratt, things like that. But then again, the
I
same
actually got
thing
to
can be
meet
said
him.
about, yeah. So one of the cool things though is, at least most people won't remember Laser Lord, the original Mario movie, because
Thank goodness.
yeah, like this is in most of our minds, this will be the first Mario movie. Because original video game movies, they never really succeeded. Mortal Kombat and stuff, it was kind of memey, it was fun, but like the new Mortal Kombat movie was fun. It was good. And so is, Sonic 2. All these movies are doing well. You just have to take the time and the labor of love. You can't just capitalize on somebody's likelihood to buy into it.
Right. And speaking of the original Mario movie that came out in '93, so same year that we were born, movie product production has come a long way since then,
Yeah.
so they can do a lot better than what came out in '93. That's an
No, I
understatement.
agree.
Like Laser said, it wouldn't be hard.
Yeah. And like the other thing, talking about getting ahead of the curve here and being, trying to rush things, I think Meta is a good example of this. Meta actually reported that they lost $20 billion last year or in
Since
since
2020.
2020. So they lost $20 billion since 2020. This is, you know, it makes sense to me that this would happen. I feel like the metaverse and the whole meta experience is garbage, and I think they're going about it wrong. They're trying to capitalize on things that already exist. Why would I pay for meta when I have VR chat?
No, yeah, I think they're going to see a lot of losses until more and more people are on board with the whole metaverse. Like, we know it's a thing, we know it's coming, but like, not everybody's on board for that yet. Like, people still struggle to use smartphones, so like, to try and get more and more people with the metaverse, like the virtual reality kind of stuff. Eh, it's gonna be a lot of. It's gonna be a learning curve. It's gonna be a long time from now where that's gonna be like a mainstay. Like, yo, you check
Yeah.
out here at the this building in metaverse and stuff like that. Whatever they decide to do, so makes sense.
And and not only that, metaverse it's got a small population, but it's also like mostly NFT style it's just a
Hmm.
gamble.
Yeah.
To like get anything of value in the metaverse, yeah, you're gambling just like you are on NFTs, just like any new and burgeoning technology. Like if you have a lot of money and you can speculate stupidly, sure, maybe you can make a ton of money inside the metaverse, but it's just, I think it's so silly when we have things that are free. Why buy this land when you can just do something for free?
Right. Like, let me just hop in a Minecraft world that's free and have a metaverse in there. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's open
Like why
servers that
don't
you can hop in and do whatever you want in there.
there's
Obviously,
VR
there's,
chat.
yeah,
Like literally VR chat is a thing and it's just that easy. Why don't you just use VR chat? Like
it'll.
but go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's going to be interesting to see how the whole metaverse evolves. Like, I know we're going to eventually get to the whole Ready Player One kind of ordeal, but like that's really far down the road compared to where we're at right now.
Yeah, and a lot of metaverse's money comes from outside. Like for example, I think it was JP Morgan Chase had built a bank inside the metaverse for people. They bought property inside the metaverse to turn it into a metaverse bank. Like talk about bad business decisions and like outside people, trying to speculate when they have more money than brains. And like talking about people with more money than brains, Activision, Blizzard, and Microsoft. Okay. So this week we got a report that stockholders have approved the proposed trade between Microsoft and Activision Blizzard, that they are okay with the trade and the sale to their new overlords, Microsoft.
Yeah, I'm super excited that this passed, but it's still got to go through the whole regulatory, the FTC, and other in Europe as well, and probably China or wherever else. Um, they have regulations that they have to go through. So
Mhm.
it's exciting because like the reports before this were like they were trying to send out letters and like, yo, don't do this, go against it, all this stuff. Like they made a big deal about not voting for it, and then it was almost unanimous. It was
Yeah,
like
well,
98% of the votes approved it or something like that.
Well,
So
if we've been following the things that are happening inside Activision Blizzard, it only makes sense. Like, let's be honest here. Activision Blizzard has a terrible corporate culture, like really, really bad. And so people are struggling, people are having issues. It's a bad it's a bad company. And when the people running the company, the people in charge of the direction of the company are bad, money is tending it will tend to disappear. Like look at how bad, Call of Duty's done recently,
yeah.
you know. It's not succeeding. It's losing to Fortnite and other things like that. And talking about Fortnite here, like Fortnite is still collaborating and they are just succeeding years and years after they've come out. Like just the past month, we had Coachella, and Coachella had a crossover with Fortnite. Like that
A
was
metaverse, pretty much.
like Fortnite feels like a better metaverse than metaverse.
Yeah, I 1000% agree because like you could literally experience Coachella in Fortnite because you can listen to the music that were done by all the artists or the DJs and stuff,
Hmm.
and then also
Well,
buy like experience the fashion that were going on at Coachella as well.
well, and remember, we even had like concerts in fucking
Fortnite
Fortnite,
and
with the Marshmallow Head guy. I don't
yeah,
even remember who he is. I don't know
Marshmallow.
who he is.
It's
In
Marshmallow.
Marshmallow, okay, yeah.
And Travis Scott was in there. Ariana Grande has been in there. Like they've had tons of concerts. Like they literally have digital concerts for these people.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Meta is just like the consumers will make everything for us. And Fortnite's like, no, you got to curate it if you want money. And
Right.
so I think it's really interesting where the industry is right now, where like people are trying to make money off of other people's creations at this point,
Hmm.
which isn't the first time this has ever happened. Let's be honest here.
Fair enough.
That's the way the world works. But like you can actually see consumerism do what it's doing and really actually work. And these companies are struggling. Metaverse lost 20 billion.
Well, Fortnite probably made a couple billion.
Exactly. So without going too much into the industry news here, we can start talking about gaming news. So gaming news, we have a few things, nothing really crazy, nothing over the top. Some nothing from our any, major AAA studios, some stuff, people behind the curve. We'll start off here with Telltale. So Telltale Games is making a Walking Dead,
No, it was.
right? Or it already was.
Yep.
So It turns out this was actually originally a Left 4 Dead spin-off. Do you want to give us a little more information about this?
Yeah, so whenever I guess this idea popped up on board, they wanted to make a Left 4 Dead spin-off zombie game, but like obviously Telltale style. But then I guess it transitioned to Walking Dead because it probably made more sense, and you have a lot more lore and like stuff that you can actually build off. I think a lot better than Left 4 Dead per se, um,
Yeah.
just because of
Well,
the Left 4 Dead
Left
was
4
just a
Dead
game.
has been done. It's dead. It's a
Yeah,
dead game. They killed off the series. We saw Bloodborne be or Back for Blood, sorry.
yeah.
We saw Back for Blood because Left 4 Dead, they're like, we're gonna just let this IP die.
Well, they didn't own the rights to it, so they couldn't make it Left 4 Dead
Yeah.
3.
Well, no, I know they didn't. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
Somebody else, the original creators had to go off and make the game somewhere else as a new IP.
right. Yeah, it's sad to see that Left 4 Dead basically lost its its like excitement from its original name, and they had to go off and
Mhm.
create their own thing. But yeah, I mean that when that news came out of nowhere, I was just like really, like that's crazy. Like I would never have thought about that because like the Walking Dead Telltale game is one of the best games that style of game. Like um,
It's really what put Telltale on the map.
right, and which led to us getting like the Tales of Borderlands and the Wolf Among Us and other ones like that have done phenomenally well. So yeah, that's crazy to see that kind of stuff. But moving on here to Apex Legends, they announced their new hero that's coming out. For those who are excited for that, Newcastle. It's a shield-bearing soldier. He is the 21st agent, which I cannot believe how many agents they have already. He is also Bangalore's long lost brother. So he was apparently like presumed dead, and like he came out of nowhere, and then like they meet up, and they're like, oh yay, you're still alive. And the stories from Outland's lore video was pretty cool because you got to see them like reconnect and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. This kind of looks like RoboCop, to be honest with you, with a shield.
Yeah, yeah, it looks like RoboCop to me. I didn't even think about that till you said it, but like, yeah, it's literally RoboCop. But yeah, no, he looks like an interesting agent. Like sometimes I still think about going back to Apex because I would rather play it than any other game right now in the market, especially when we talk about things like COD. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Apex is fun. I just downloaded the next gen and I hopped in playing solo. It's definitely not fun when you try to play with a random anymore. Like it was cool
yeah.
when Apex first dropped. They were like the first game to implement the whole ping system in the battle royale, and like you didn't have to communicate with like voice with your teammates. It just worked. It was phenomenal. But now it's super sweaty.
Buddy.
It's super sweaty. I'm like, holy fuck! Like those dudes had like precision accuracy, hit every bullet. I'm like, how? How? Like I don't get it. Like it just doesn't make sense. But look at us now with Valorant. Like we've been climbing the ranks with Valorant. Like from me and you down to
It's
even
pretty sweaty.
Bruno is getting really good at it. And it's great to see our team coming along and the progression that we're seeing in that.
Yeah, I
So
feel like I'm getting my stride back in one of these games. It's been a while since, I played CS:GO, which is the closest comparison, and I used to be pretty decent at that in college, and I kind of gave it up, and I'm kind of excited to see where we go with this. But um talking about Call of Duty here for a moment, we actually got big news, I guess. Like it's not really
official
big
news.
news. We knew it was coming. It's been announced, but we finally got the new Modern Warfare 2 logo as well as a 16-second trailer where the logo just comes up and then disappears. Like
Yeah.
it just means, they're getting ready to hype us. So we're probably going to see here soon at an Activision Blizzard event, we're going to see some Modern Warfare 2 content, I'm assuming.
hmm Yeah,
So,
this was big, honestly. I mean, like, when they put out that whole 16-second reveal trailer, it has garnished more positivity and more views and more likes and more shares than Vanguard did by like tenfold, 10 plus fold.
well, yeah,
It,
everyone's over World War II.
yeah,
It's been done so many times. We like modern warfare. Like we wanted Battlefield to succeed, and look where we
right,
are.
right. Battlefield flopped.
After the failure of Battlefield, Modern Warfare 2 only has, tons and tons of room for success. They've left them so much room.
Right, and I'm super excited because like Modern Warfare 2019 was a lot of fun. They implemented Warzone for the first time. They had gunfight for the first time. It felt real. It looked phenomenal. And Modern Warfare 2 is going to be that game that's going to apparently take Call of Duty to the next level. That's what they're saying. So it's like a whole new engine officially. Like it's going to look super realistic, and I'm all for it because Modern Warfare
Yeah.
2019 was really great. And I tell people all the time, we have not had a good Call of Duty since Xbox 360, and people don't want to understand that. I was like, Call of Duty Ghost was the last enjoyable Call of Duty game that we have had because all of them after that were garbage. Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 4,
They're
3 and
just
4
they
or
were made
whatever.
for the fanboys.
Advanced
We
Warfare
we've
garbage. Like
we've
they,
been dealing with the MOBA or not the MOBA, the battle royale taking too much of its thunder. Call of Duty has been struggling to compete where everything else is starting to take from its, the arena shooter is on the way out sometimes. And so they really need to bring something to the table to actually reinvigorate the arena shooter because the arena shooter has better competitors. Valorant is
yeah,
in its bracket, and Valorant is curb stomping them.
yeah, for sure. I
So,
would definitely agree with that. But some other news in Call of Duty's with their whole Ricochet anti-cheat system, they have now implemented like a feature for people who are like trying to use like hacks or cheats that are like apparently undetectable, but they found a way to detect them. So now like when cheaters are using them, they won't be able to see any other player in the game unless they are a cheater, and so everyone else can see them. And then same thing with like bullets and sounds. Like they're not going to be able to hear or see anything in the game unless they're seeing other cheaters. And I was just like, hey, that's great. I love it. It
cheaters kill cheaters, and then the regular players can kill the cheaters at the end.
right. And that's phenomenal. It might make me want to go check out Warzone again, even though I don't want to play on Caldera because that map is dumpster
Yeah.
fire.
I would rather just continue to play on Verdansk.
If we had the chance to.
Yeah, right. All right. So some smaller news here. Riders Republic. This is a Ubisoft game. They're entering season 2 on April 26th, which has already arrived. So there's a new showdown arena, brand new events, toys, and much more. Like this is okay, I guess.
Yeah.
It just you popped it into the news here, but to me, it's another one of those Ubisoft games. It's just not.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like one of those like it's one of those exports games that for those that don't know, like you can snowboard, bike, pair like whatever, the air suits or whatever. So like it's a really fun game. It looks pretty cool, and it's like one of its kind. Like it, you don't really see too
Yeah.
many exports games out there anymore. Like you have Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 that was remade, but like other than that, we don't have anything else that resembles this kind of game. So people who are looking for this kind of game, it's great that they're still supporting it with content and just bringing so much more to it and entering in season 2 because it's not even been a year yet. So season 2 already, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I agree where you're coming from. I never thought about it like that. The only other games we have are that snowboarding game I think you were talking about.
Yeah, but
I can't even remember its name.
it doesn't even compete. It does not.
Yeah,
Like that other snowboarding
exactly.
game that I can't think of the name either of that I've checked out is like an indie developed game compared to Riders Republic.
Yeah. So, you know, let's continue talking about things that aren't indie developed and maybe are finally getting playable patches. Dying Light 2, Stay Human, has finally hit patch 1.3.0, and it's going to add a new game plus, co-op fixes finally,
Thank
some
goodness.
content and gameplay updates, thank God, more quest updates to fix them, UI fixes, and tech updates. Like, this game felt clunky and not ready for prime time out of the box, and it feels like it's taken way too long. We're what, almost 3 months now? 3 months
Yeah,
into its life? Four?
yeah, 3.
So, and it's still, it still needs content to get fixed. And we even haven't, we have dropped the game at this point. I want to go back and beat it, but
Yeah.
like the game just feels bad.
It sure does. But hopefully, with these fixes, when we hop back into it, maybe this Thursday we can check it out again. That we can feel the difference. Like I remember when we hopped back
Hmm.
in the one time, I was like, yo, I could legitimately see and feel the update. Like it, but because there's some updates that are updating, and you're like, all right, cool. What did they change? And you can't tell at all. So I'm
Yeah,
hoping that we get one
exactly.
of those updates. You're like, yo, this is so much smoother. It looks
It
great. It doesn't
actually
look
is
grainy.
playable.
Right? Yeah, it's enjoyable. Hopefully, less black like cutaway black screens. Like I can't do those anymore. Like so hopefully they fix them and hopefully we can finish up that game soon because it's time to move on.
No, I agree. So, smaller game here. Disney Dreamlight is a game that just got announced this week. Weirdly enough, watching the trailer, this is interesting. Disney is releasing an Animal Crossing sort of Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley style game that it's a life simulator. It's like Sims meets, Sims meets Animal Crossing.
Right. And like we were talking about this in the pre-stream while we were playing actually Valorant today, and I was just like, yeah, man, I was like, this could work out really well. Like everybody loves Disney. This game is not going to be made for everybody, but it's going to be a way to connect with friends in a different way, and you can like build your own village set in different Disney universes. So like, I'm low key curious about this. Like, I might want to check this out, even play with my girl, because I showed her and she was like, "Can we get it on the Switch?" And I was like, I've never seen her excited about a game, so I was like, "Yes, please."
Sure. Yeah, definitely. No, I know if I give it to Jordan, it'll probably end up there for hours. So, she calls herself the Disney Princess. That's her online handle. So,
Right. It only makes sense, and that's why I sent it to both you guys actually in a side chat as
Mhm.
well, and she was stoked about it. So I was like, "Yep, it's gonna be
Yeah.
pretty cool." And I have like it's pretty cool to see that Disney's trying to reach out and do different like content. Like obviously we see that Kingdom Hearts 4 was recently announced, so like they're still trying to reach out and get some more content with games because they realize the success and how big the gaming market is. And I'm really
Mhm.
surprised that we don't see other types of games with their content. Like obviously we see Star Wars and Marvel stuff, but like Disney oriented princesses and all the kid stuff.
Yeah, I think at times we don't see it because it just kind of goes under the radar. They're not AAA games. They're like,
Hmm.
we've got Mickey games and things like that sometimes, but it's just not their big catalog. It's not the things that we would play. So
Right.
why would we see it typically? You're not going to see it on the front page of Instagram or the front page of Twitter. It's just not that kind of audience.
Right, for sure. But what is
All right.
that has a big audience here is Overwatch. Overwatch 2, the beta has been playable, and if you had to like sign up for if you wanted to be part of the beta, but now you could have gotten a beta access code if you watched 4 hours on Twitch. Would you sit there and watch 4 hours of Overwatch 2 to get a code?
Well, I would if I just put it on in the background. I'd just give some
Okay.
random streamer 4 hours of my time. But no, yeah, I would definitely do it. I'm glad that, this is their way of getting the community to engage, but it's definitely different. I've seen keys be dropped like this, so I may still give it a try. I'm not sure how long the beta is available for.
Right. So I mean, I'm hearing mixed reviews about this, like the whole beta, how it's been playing out there. But like, it's basically Overwatch One. Like, it hasn't changed too much other than from the six-player team to the five-player team. Like, that's
And they're
pretty new.
also changing agent loadouts. That's the big thing. So they're then Overwatch 2, the biggest thing is their balancing changes. They've changed a lot of the characters and how they play. Like they've completely reworked Bastion, I believe is his name, the turret character.
Hmm.
They've completely reworked how he plays. He's now a mortar instead of a tank. He can run and gun in his tank form or in his turret form. So like there's some silly different thing that's going on here, but it definitely I'd give it a try for a few minutes, but I don't think I'd be playing too much longer than a few minutes.
Right. So I mean, hopefully they can. I just feel like Overwatch should be a game that's legitimately a games of service, and just have updates. Like you can update the engine in the game, keep it the
Yeah,
same, make some changes or updates, like tweak some balancing issues, and just add more content to it. I think Overwatch would be a phenomenal game for it. It has the audience. It has the esports part. The existence. Like it's all there, and I know
yeah.
my guys over Shoot to Win
I
actually just
think
hop back into Overwatch and they enjoy Overwatch as well. So it's just like, why make these changes that no one even wants? Like I just don't. Like to me, you feel disconnected from your community at that point.
I think the issue at hand is they're trying to revive the esports community, so they're trying to re-release the game because it'll garner more attention than just adding more updates. So at this point, they have to rebrand themselves, and companies do this all the time. So it's just a rebranding of their game, but now you have to go with the rebranding and you have to get the game. Like, for one, the fact that the game itself, you have to pay for it, then it had microtransactions was really silly.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So, talking about microtransactions here, the new Sonic game coming out here, Sonic Origins, turns out Sega did something scummy. Go figure. Sega has removed the ability to purchase every standalone version of a Sonic game. So if you ever want to buy a Sonic game at this point, you have to buy the Sonic Origins collection. You can't just buy any of the copies of Sonic on its own on any store anywhere. That means Steam, Epic, it, it anywhere. Anywhere you want to play a Sonic game, you can download a copy that you've ever purchased, but you can't buy the individual games anymore, which is actually interesting because I read somebody was talking about this and it was an interesting thought. What happens when you continue to remake the game and you introduce new bugs, you introduced old bugs, so now you break the game for speed running communities, you break the game for other people. It's just the games itself, you're ruining posterity and the ability to carry that game through time. So I think it's really scummy, Laser. I agree. It's really scummy for these people to do this stuff. And
Right.
so Sega kind of lost my respect in this, and they still have DLC just to animate characters in the freaking title screen. Like, why is that something I have to pay $2 to see Sonic bouncing around in the title screen? Why? Why? That literally is unacceptable.
Right. And I don't know if anybody's realized, but last two episodes I've had my like face palming part of the show, and this is probably it because the next couple of segments here are gonna be face palming. And Sega, bad PR stunt. It just doesn't make sense. With the whole pricing structure that we talked about
Yeah,
last week was already bad. And then you move on and you're like, "Yep, now you can't buy these games individually no matter what version of the game it was.
you just
Sorry,
have
you
to
can't
buy the
buy it.
collection.
Now you have to rebuy it or buy it more expensive." And I was just like, no wonder why Sega's going being driven into the ground really quick. Like they got out of the arcade business. They got out of the console business. They're all but out of the gaming business in general. I'm just like, rip. I agree with you, Lunatic Oblivion here. Rip. Like this is insane.
Yeah, it's pretty scummy. And so talking about scummy and removing the ability for posterity and, supporting these games as, a work of art, as something that generations may want to be able to play. Ubisoft has now removed the online support for over 90 of their older games. So they're removing, all the back end for over, half of their old collection. So this includes games that may have been built strictly off of online play. So now you can't even play with your friends anymore.
I just don't get it. Like we're trying to like preserve games and keep them running. Like I don't see how it costs the company that much more to be able to keep these games running for people who clearly want to play your titles. Because when this news broke, everyone was like, "Bro, what are you doing?" And they were like, "Oh no, no, no! It's not 90 at one time. We've been slowly getting to this number, and there's still
Yeah,
more to come." And it's just like you can't back that up. You shouldn't shut them down in general.
yeah. But so next thing we have as well is PlayStation. PlayStation only just got the ability to do VRR support. So this is variable refresh rate. This is something that we already have on computers and on our Xbox, the next gen Xbox. They all have it. And even toggling on VRR on PS5, most people are saying Xbox did it better.
Yeah,
You know,
and
PC, yes, at the end of the day, has done it best, but
yeah.
Xbox came out day one with it and is already blowing Sony out, who took extra time.
Yeah, so what VRR is, for those who don't know, it's basically just aligning the monitor refresh rate up to your console's refresh rate and just making sure that it lines up so there's less tearing and stuff going on. But yeah, I was really confused to see why PlayStation came out so long after this. Like this is your next gen console and you still couldn't include such a very
Like that's
simplistic
such a
feature.
basic feature
Right.
that most modern stuff has, especially with everyone caring about frame rate anymore. It's not about the resolution anymore. It's about frame rate. Frame rate is the future.
Right. You were trying to advertise 120 frames per second, but the your 120 and your monitor is probably fucking everything up and it's looking terrible. You're like, man, what's wrong with my game? Why does it look this bad? I don't want this. And then you turn off 120, you're back to 60, and then you're missing out on your next gen feature.
Yeah. No,
It just
exactly.
doesn't make sense.
Well, let's move on to something a little bit better here. So, Epic. Epic
Hmm.
actually is giving away 3 free games this week and next. We've got Just Die Already, Paradigm, and Terraforming Mars. So these are interesting games,
Hmm.
for free games. It's cool. Like the fact that Epic just gives away free games. If you're looking to expand your PC collection, hop into Epic. Make sure you get your free games, man, because like you don't even have to buy anything at this point.
Right, and I didn't even know like you didn't have to have like a premium subscription for these free games either. Like because
No, they're 100%.
I didn't even have Epic Games on my computer until we played Tiny Tina's because that's the only platform you can buy it on. I was like, oh, free games, sure, why not? Let me just add to my collection of games, even though I probably won't play them. But these games seem
Yeah.
pretty solid. Just Die Already and Paradigm are available until May 5th, and then on May 5th, Terraforming Mars is available from until the 12th. So definitely grab them. Why not? Like that's how I felt about Games of Gold back in the day. But speaking of Games of Gold here with Xbox, they released their or announced their May 2022 edition, which they're available today for the first couple of them. Yoki's Island Express, May 1st to the 31st. The Inner World, The Last Wind Monk, May 16th to June 15th, and Hydro Thunder Hurricane, May 1st to the 15th. Again, another collection of games where I'm just like, they
They're
need to,
free.
yeah, they're free, but like they need to rework Games of Gold. Like there's legitimately no good games on this service anymore. Like when Games of Gold first came out, they used to come out with some bangers, dude. Like
Yeah.
AAA releases, you're like, yo, I didn't play that game. Give me that. Let me go play and download and
It's
play.
4 years old, whatever. I still wanted to play that. That's a cool game. But now it's like, what the fuck is this game? And they're like relaunching games that we had with the original Xbox store on the 360.
Yeah, it's really confusing, but
Yeah.
and some more
But
sad news in the gaming Xbox world is Gears is removing their map builder to focus on future projects. And I say bad because it's like if Halo like released Forge and they were like, "Yep, we're going to remove Forge because we want to work on future content." And to me, like that doesn't make sense. Like you don't have to remove a mode to work on future projects. You just wouldn't support it anymore. Like you wouldn't be releasing new updates or fixes or whatever. Just be as is. What's your thoughts on this?
I I I like I get that they don't want to support it. So the issue at hand is at the end of the day, they're like, we don't want to invest any team members to supporting it because if people find bugs in it, then we theoretically would need to support it, but we don't want to. So it's just something that I'm like, well, I get you don't want to support it, but some people may want this. Who knows? Maybe Gears, just the map builder nobody ever used
Right.
because Gears wasn't being played very much. But at the end of the day, it's just like, why remove a feature from your game that people are actively playing? Like to not lose this feature, you have to literally turn off updates to Gears so that you can keep it. Like, I don't like the idea of removing features. Just say, hey, you get it as is. This is it. It's not going to change.
I don't get it. I really don't. But
Yeah.
some good news in the Xbox world, though. Xbox announced that their Xbox and Bethesda showcases on June 12th at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I know we're probably planning to do a live co stream of that event, like we did last year of the E3 and also Microsoft's event. So definitely stay tuned for that. But do you have any predictions you want to talk about yet, or just want to wait to do that?
We'll wait. We'll wait till we get closer at hand. We'll probably start, I'd say, a half an hour early. We can talk about it then.
Mm-hmm.
But, we'll stay tuned. We're probably going to hear more about what's coming out because Bethesda's going to have some good stuff this year. Uh, I this is going to be a big year, and they have some big studios to rival because we've already gotten some cool stuff. Maybe we'll see, a new Elder Scrolls, something like that. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, for sure. But it's a Game Pass update real quick. Nothing too crazy, but they added NBA 2K22 that came out of nowhere. It's already available now. So they based it like they have every game, every sports game now on Game Pass. You want to play football, go play that. You want to play soccer, go play that. Baseball, go play that. Hockey, you want to go play like they literally like you don't have to spend money
all,
anymore.
all I'm saying is Microsoft is Thanos 2022.
Just
They've got
adding
it. The whole
stone.
glove. The
Yeah.
whole glove.
Just adding stones. They're like, yep, got it. Got it.
Yeah, no,
Got it.
exactly.
And
It's awesome. It's just another win for Game Pass.
yeah, I mean everyone knows how big 2K is, and now this gives like that average gamer who didn't want to spend 60 $70 on 2K a chance to download 2K now and then play and enjoy it, whether it's my team or creating your player and playing my player or just playing pickup games like, with your friends. It's free.
Like fuck. At this point, like I might even play a sports game because it's free. I've always wanted to get back in and play a sports game. I'd love to just play a season and call it a day. Even if I can play with a friend, a
Yeah.
two-player co-op season on a game.
Yeah, a lot of
There's just
games now have co-op modes. Like the
yeah,
MLB The Show 2022. This is the first year they added a co-op into the game, so like that's big. And I know Madden still has it. So I mean, why not? I know FIFA has it. They've always had it. But yeah, for
yeah.
sure. 2K, yeah, not really.
All right. So, last section of the evening here, we've got gaming rumors. So, the first one, kind of a rumor, kind of backed up here. Turns out Valorant may or may not have scrapped an idea about having agent-specific weapons. So as you finished a battle pass, instead of having agent-specific guns, you would have like, a weapon that was specifically designed based on that character. This is similar to the Apex Legends heirlooms. Well, it's just a fun, interesting tidbit of knowledge.
Mhm.
Sometimes you don't realize what the developers have for these games until they come out. Like, Riot had a lot of interesting ideas for Valorant that did get scrapped in the end.
Right, and actually, interesting enough, like these weren't just going to be cosmetic only either. Like these could have been game altering things like
Yeah,
that you could unlock. Like I know one of them, I think it was like Breach. Like he had like a hammer that can like break through the doors that you would close in the game. Where like other ones they would have to keep stabbing or whatever or shoot it and break it. But his you can just go boom, and I'm through the door. Like that to me sounds
I
pretty
would have been
cool.
crazy.
Right, that would have been altering, and like I guess like Sova had like a shock dart like knife or sword or whatever. Like the possibilities are endless, but like how much of the meta does that really change? Like how much of that gameplay is
Yeah,
altered from that?
how much balancing do you have to do? Like, that's the crazy thing.
Yeah, so it may or may not have been a good thing that they scrapped it, but
Removed it. Yeah.
maybe they could always add it later on. They can always add
Yeah.
challenges or different things in the game.
Yeah. And so Netflix, or in the Netflix world here, rumor is this year that we're supposed to see a 50 game catalog by the end of the year. So the big giant is still going to push forward even after their big loss Q1. We're still going to see 50 games in the Netflix catalog. Is it going to save them?
50 games though, like that's a lot. Like I think they have like five or less right now. Like that's a lot of games they're going to put out in 7 months. I don't know if that
Yeah.
like I don't see how successful that's going to be or how big these games are going to be either. Like are they going to be like solitaire? Because like I know they have like a solitaire on Netflix or whatever that you can play. So it's like what kind of level or like kind of games are going to get? That's what
It
I'm worried
feels
about.
like we're just gonna get Windows Store games, stuff that for your on your mom's PC kind of thing.
We're going to get like Paint 2.0.
Yeah. So, Nintendo, another big company here, Nintendo actually claims, or there's claims that Nintendo's third-party repair partners are so overwhelmed with Joy-Con repairs that they just can't keep up anymore. This is crazy. We've known about this for a while now, but it doesn't really get talked about all that much. But the Joy-Cons are actually one of the worst inventions Nintendo has ever had, and they are really trying to struggle to hide the fact how bad it is.
Right, but that's also goes hand in hand that they are the number one selling console unit wise. So like when you're selling 80 million plus units, obviously you're going to have more of an issue like controller wise than like Xbox and PlayStation who are only selling 13 million or whatever. So it's like, give or take, it makes sense. But
Yeah. But
hopefully that their next iteration like are these Joy Cons coming from the original Switch? Or are they from the OLED Switch? Like, did the OLED Switch have better Joy Cons? Like, where are those numbers at?
Yeah, and not to mention, like, I agree with Laser here. Are we also looking at the fact that this wouldn't be an issue if Nintendo didn't play the Apple game and
Mm-hmm.
they made the repair parts available for independent repair companies? Because Nintendo's at this point, they're like, we're only doing licensed third party retailers or,
Mm-hmm.
repair partners who have to go through us. They get all their business through Nintendo. You have to call their support. So it just goes to show the right to repair Apple actually just lost last month. Apple lost their right to repair cases.
Yeah, they sure did. Now they opened up that you can basically do self repair if you want to.
Yeah, no, it's open to everyone, which is great. You know, it was a big win for the consumer.
Yeah, that's huge.
So let's loop back around to another company who everyone dislikes as well. Ubisoft might be the next company to be bought out. Reports are saying that they may be purchased by somebody here, but who?
Yeah, that's the big question, man. Like there's a lot of companies that have a lot of money to work with. Like as much as I would say I want Xbox to go in and clean house and Ubisoft and make some well needed changes in that, but I could see Sony grabbing Ubisoft or
Mhm.
even Tencent. As big as Tencent is, like I think that they could
Oh yeah,
grab it, or
yeah.
even
Everyone
Epic
forgets
Games,
about Tencent.
like Epic or whatever their parent company is. I forget their actual parent company, but like they could ultimately buy Ubisoft as well. So it'd be interesting to
Mhm.
see who buys them up. And I think Ubisoft needs a shake up for sure because like we're tired of the copy paste, the same formula. They're going down wrong paths with like NFTs and microtransactions. Like it's not it.
No, I agree. I'd like to see Ubisoft get a shakeup, but it may or may not be happening. It's just sounds like it as it is. It's a gaming rumor.
Right. I mean,
So,
but also because like with the whole them bringing their games to Game Pass already, and with maybe Ubisoft Plus coming to Game Pass, like Laser Alert might be on here. It could
well,
be
it
Microsoft.
could, and maybe somebody else might buy them, pull out the rug underneath Microsoft, and now Microsoft has to expunge the entire catalog.
Right. So that'll be
Yeah,
interesting. And then, but if Microsoft gets Ubisoft, guess what, guys? Every new release is coming to Game Pass day one, all caps. You already know how that goes, chat.
yeah. And so let's talk about something else here that is in interesting news. Gotham Knights, the game we were talking about coming out the end of the year here. Taiwan has already gotten a version of the game, a playtest version, so that they could get it rated and get it approved. The rating only shows ratings for the PS5 and the Xbox Series S and X. It doesn't have a rating for PS4 or Xbox One. Could this mean that that Gotham Knights isn't coming to the last gen?
Right, which would be crazy because it's already been announced that it was coming to last gen. So maybe with the whole delays of other all their other games and whatnot, that their final decision was like, hey guys, we might need to cut last gen.
We just need, yeah, it's just not worth it anymore. You know,
Right,
sorry, get a new console. Everyone can get them now.
like
They're starting to appear in stores.
what if that's the legitimate one of the reasons why Justice League killed a whatever Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League got delayed. Like, what if that was one of the reasons where they had to redo their version of the game because they were trying to get it on last gen, but now they're not. So now they want to make it and push it as far as possible for next gen and give you that next gen experience.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm excited. I'm tired of last gen getting supported
Yeah,
anymore. Like, I don't want to be that guy, but at the same time, everyone suffers because somebody else can't get the next gen console. And like, I get it. You want to be able to play the game, but you realize it takes hundreds and hundreds of man hours, and everyone's getting a less cleaned up product just so that we can support the older versions.
right. And speaking about this, like this is the complete opposite here. Forza Motorsport, like so, the next generation of Forza, the reboot, the soft reboot of Forza Motorsport, was supposed to be a next gen exclusive only, and it's been apparently leaked that an Xbox One version might be released. So I'm like, I'm kind of curious about this because if they're rebooting Motorsport, I thought this was going to be like, all right, cool, we're starting from the beginning, building
This
it
is going
ground
to be
up.
like you seeing rain, you know,
Right,
the rain itself.
like this is legitimate. Like you are not going to be able to distinguish the difference between the game and real life. So I'm really curious, but like maybe that we saw it played on an Xbox One via the cloud because you know that you can play next gen games on the Xbox One if you play it on the
Yeah.
cloud. So maybe that's what it is. Hopefully that's what it is.
But we're still seeing that it is possibly going to be played on the old console. So who knows at this point because the rumors are as they are rumors. But we'll keep you posted, chat, as things move forward. Remember to check us out every Sunday. And so, Vic, where can we find you?
Of course, you can check me out at Twitter at MrNeverChillin underscore. Xbox is XNeverSpaceChillin. If you want a game, party up, hit me up on there. Facebook is Vic Brubacher. Questions, concerns, want to come on the show, or even become another co-host, because we are looking to bring someone on as a permanent, whether they're part-time or full-time. I want to get another host on here as well. And check out my Twitch at twitch.tv /Mr. Never I'll be streaming some like story-driven games on there from time to time at night. So be sure to check me out. But what about you, Roger?
Hey, so I just got a Twitter as well. So you can check out my Twitter on my Twitch, which is twitch.tv /lunatic_oblivion. I got a link there. I'm also lunatic_oblivion on Twitter.
Perfect. And definitely want to thank everyone who checked us out live and anyone checks us out later, man. It's always great to see everyone come through and support us. But check us out tomorrow for our live ranked Valorant streams. But until next time, peace.